I'll tell you this. I feel really bad for somebody who's just got their YouTube channel on autoplay and my video has just popped up in the playlist. They probably have it on kind of in the background, not really paying attention to it because they're about to get really annoyed by the sound I'm about to make. Hey, what's up? It's Who the F is JC. I just got out of an advanced screening of the brand new movie Rampage, starring The Rock and a whole bunch of CGI monsters. Here's a Redlight review. Okay, now the movie Rampage is not typically the type of movie I'd want to go to see. The reason why I wanted to see this, and just because Rampage is like one of the very first video games I remember as a kid wanting to play. I remember being at like the Little Caesars. It was like the Little Caesars Pizza Palace. I don't know. It was like Chuck E. Cheese's nowadays, but the Little Caesars version. I remember seeing the older kids gathered around this arcade machine that had these big, huge monsters, a wolf, a lizard, and a gorilla. And the object of the game was just to destroy the city. I thought it was cool. You got to be the monster that destroys the city. One of the very first video games that I had on the NES, I beat up the entire United States, only for the game to start over again. They have to beat up the entire United States again. So technically, I believe I beat the game. Unless that motherfucker on the Nintendo hotline was lying to me and there actually is a way to beat the game. Fucking charging me $1.99 a minute. So for me, I was interested in seeing how are they gonna turn this into a live action movie. The basic plotline of the movie, chemical laboratory company, similar to what the Umbrella Corporation was in Resident Evil. There's this company like that in the Rampage realm, and they're doing these experiments up in space where they take different genetic code from different actual wild animals to create like a serum that will modify an animal's genetic code. They found a way to weaponize cloning and genetic research and stuff. So they're doing these experiments in space. All of a sudden, something goes crazy wrong. They're trying to escape from this space station. In the process of that happening, 3 of these samples of the chemicals that they're researching fall to the earth like meteorites. Obviously, 3 samples fall to earth. There's 3 different monsters. You know, there's a wolf, an alligator, and a gorilla. 3 samples find their way into the hands of these animals, and these animals are now mutating and growing bigger and growing more aggressive, and they're ready to take out the city, or take out the country, take out the world. So now that takes us back to Earth, where The Rock, who's a primatologist, but it's incredibly hard to believe that The Rock, some sort of a zoology scientist. Well, I mean, let's see, he went to like online college and he was taking courses while he was working out in the gym, you know, books on tape or something. You can tell he's dedicated his life to his body, but somehow he's also found time to become a primatologist. The Rock being some sort of a monkey scientist is as believable as him being the Tooth Fairy. So The Rock works as primatologist at the San Diego Zoo. He's like the lead guy there. One of the gorillas that The Rock is working with finds some of the sample that falls to the earth like a meteorite, and now he's mutating out of control. Now the thing is, The Rock can communicate with this gorilla. He found the gorilla as a baby, he raised him, so the gorilla understands sign language. The monkey's name is George. I like that they kept it true to the NES game. So George finds this sample, and the sample makes him more aggressive. They're making him grow at like an incredible rate. What happens? A secret government agency comes, or they know about the samples falling to the earth. They know that they've gotten in the hands of some of these animals, and now we have these great, big, huge, giant, very aggressive creatures roaming the planet. So now this government agency knows that the monkey's getting out of hand, so they swoop in to try to capture the monkey. They end up apprehending The Rock and also a scientist that helped create the serum to make these animals grow bigger. Now The Rock has to convince pretty much the government agencies to let him try to help resolve the situation because of his relationship with the monkey, and also having the scientist that helped create the serum there. They're able to get some leverage. One of the government agency officers helps them execute The Rock's plan to save the day, essentially. Some of the actors in the movie, obviously, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. You also see Negan, you know, from The Walking Dead. The guy who plays Negan is in this movie, but it seems like he's not as affected by gravity such a way as he is during the zombie apocalypse. It seems like he can stand up a little more straighter. He pretty much plays Negan as a cop who also loves animals. The only other big name actor that I recognized was that Joe Magniella, you know, the dude from fucking Magic Mike. He plays a gay vampire or werewolf or something on True Blood. It's banging Sofia Vergara, that guy. I feel like they captured the game in a way that I was not expecting. And some of the details they nailed from the video game, the way the monsters would eat the humans in the game. There's different planes that would fly over. You know, there's demolition guys that would blow stuff up. You see the monsters interact with all of those things in the movie that you would actually see them interact with in the game. I really feel like they paid attention to the details of this game and incorporated that into the story. I'm not talking about any of the updated versions of Rampage. I only know the true NES classic Rampage. Only thing you didn't see that I was expecting you to see him punch a hole in the wall and see a guy on the shitter with his pants down taking a dump, reading a newspaper. I'd have that in the game, and I figured that'd be a real easy laugh from the movie, and that was not there. The movie was much better than I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be a total stinker, but it is total adrenaline pumping, hardcore, cheesy action, starring The Rock. He's got one-liners. He has jokes with the giant CGI gorilla. This is what you're gonna get when you go to see this movie. I'd almost explain it as a cuckold situation, right? Let's say King Kong would be the lady in the cuckold, the bull would be Triple X, whatever the bitch is in the cuckold situation, that would be Die Hard, but I'm thinking more like Die Hard that came out around the 4th of July a few years back. The Die Hards where the action is super cheesy and unbelievable stunts, so that kind of stuff. I like the Die Hards where Bruce Willis is a badass. So this cuckold's going down, but they need lube. What are they using to lube it up? Old Yeller. Actually, maybe a better reference, Marley and Me. And then when the whole sex scene is done, cuckold is over, instead of the room smelling of sweet hot sex, it smells of Sharknado. All 6 or 7 of them. Yes, a cuckold, the bull, Triple X, the lady, King Kong, the guy who's crying in the corner, Die Hard, but the newer Die Hards. They're using Marley and Me as lube, and the room just stinks of sci-fi's Sharknado. It's action, there's a little bit of drama, but it's straight up, it's The Rock in an action movie that's rated PG-13, so the humor also revolves around a PG-13 level. I'm very happy they made the choice to actually keep the animals as CGI and not use like puppets, like the puppets in Congo. If you remember the movie Congo, that was the gorilla, like that puppet, looked totally fake.
Hey, fuck you, James.
Even though maybe at the beginning there was a little bit of puppet and CGI combined, I couldn't tell. But I'm really glad for the most part they did everything CGI and not with those cheesy puppets. Now the humor in the movie, it's super easy jokes, very predictable, nothing very highbrow humor-wise. The Rock's got a lot of one-liners. There's actually a couple moments I did laugh out loud. Like I could feel a lot of the jokes coming as they were about to be delivered. I could tell exactly what the punchline was. The audience really loved The Rock and the one-liners that he was delivering. For me, this movie isn't one that you're gonna go check out opening night. If you're really bored, you got some time to kill, this to me is more of a movie. You're gonna have your friends over, you're gonna burn one, you're gonna give it the Mystery Science Theater treatment. For me, I'd say it's average. It was much better than I thought it was going to be. If you're into Sharknado, if you're into like, giant monsters fucking shit up, you'll probably love this movie. If I was gonna compare giant monster fighting movies with one another, say Rampage and Pacific Rim, I would say Rampage would win that battle. I thought the movie had more action, preferred the comedy a little bit more. It didn't come across as much as a kid's movie as what the Pacific Rim movie did. Just be ready for unbelievable stunts, giant monsters destroying the city. It was awesome watching the big monsters wreck the shit out of Chicago. So The Rock plays an imaginary animal trainer in this movie. I do want to say though, The Rock did a pretty okay job, but Chris Pratt definitely takes the award for Hollywood's imaginary animal trainer. Look at this guy. Look at those skills. Look at that elegance, look at that grace, look at that hunkiness. He's got everything you would want in an animal trainer. Look how he handled those raptors like a pro. That's what you want. One of the things that would drive me nuts was the way The Rock would sign to George, and he'd be like, hey George, what's up? Are we cool for this weekend? Doesn't look like he's really signing anything. Or he would keep talking, but he's only doing like 2 signals. So it's almost like watching like the Godzilla movies when they would dub them over with English, and you see like the mouth moving, but the words wouldn't match up. It was almost like that was happening with The Rock's sign language. And I don't know anything about sign language other than this one. And I felt like he's always doing the same sign over and over. All right, well, that's gonna do it for this Redlight review. If you go see the movie, let me know what you think. I wanna know what your thoughts on the movie were. Did you like The Rock's performance? What'd you think about the CGI? Also, don't forget to like, share, and comment on the video. Why don't you subscribe to my channel right here? Just click this face. See this face of mine? You click right on there, and it's gonna subscribe you right to my channel.